If you're an anxious attacher that goes from page to page leaving negative comments, take a walk with me. My page offers several different types of content. You'll get videos, memes, static posts, and carousels, all that have captions underneath with a ton of info. There's also a podcast called The Blueprint, where I get to interview people that inspire me. And these are authors, therapists, coaches, and other podcasters and creators. The memes were initially meant to just be funny. It's common dynamics that happen in our relationships. You might find yourself going, ooh, that's relatable. And if you're not interacting with the various types of content on this page, I can see how you would get to the place where you might think, man, this seems really one-sided. This page is less about attachment and more about building and cultivating a better relationship with yourself, which means you have to know who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and why you're doing it. Are you willing to accept, acknowledge, and love all the different parts of you? Do you know and can you recognize when something is or is not in service of your highest good? I want to take a moment to acknowledge the benefit of joining a lot of these online groups where you get to express yourself in a lot of different ways that you wouldn't normally in real life. It's so great to go into these spaces and recognize and go, man, I'm not alone. But there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. You can get really stuck and almost addicted to your own stuff, to the degree of, if I let this go, if I change my perception, then who am I without this? And this is where a self check-in becomes important. I know that I get to experience certain emotions when I dive into this particular group. It almost feels regulating, but then you realize it doesn't last very long. So before you give yourself that dopamine hit, ask yourself, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? You can even look at each one of those as different levels, 1 through 10, inside of you of how you feel right now. And then ask yourself, what is one thing that I can do right now in each of those areas to replenish or refill my own cup? And in this moment, you're cultivating self-awareness and you're using your discernment. And the statement that got brought up today was, you, meaning I, didn't answer my question. And here's what generally happens with that. I offer up different resources, tell you to go listen to the podcast and to read books that I'm not affiliated with. Sometimes that answer is already in the caption, but we don't often read those. Most of the time, if I give you a reference tool, the answer is going to be found in there. I'm also not going to typically engage with somebody who naturally assumes my thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And this is a massive lesson for the anxious attacher. You want clarity and resolution to something right now in this moment. And the ambiguity of not receiving that causes you to be in this heightened state of arousal. And this is where we build a story and make assumptions about the situation or the person. So instead of being on a 20-page thread on social media, I give you a resource. Many people take that resource, they read the book, they listen to the podcast, and they come back to the comment section and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize this. While others become critical and resentful because I didn't give you what you wanted in this moment. The content I create is reflective of all the comments, questions, DMs, and emails that I receive, and not reflective of my personal life in any way. But you might see me out walking with my GoRuck plate carrier, playing with my dog, and cooking. But I want you to ask yourself, how many times have you assumed someone else's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and intentions? And the one thing I say all the time, and I mean it, is I'm not blaming you. It's just an awareness of you. If you like this video and you got value from it, make sure you head over to Facebook at 12 p.m. Central today for the Blueprint Live. I'll be bringing on coaches and therapists who are also content creators and answering the questions that you guys send me via my Stan Store.